This evening we have 10 staff reports. Not really. We do have a really great staff report. We are going to present to you this evening information about Strong Tomorrows. It's our program for expectant and parenting teens. And we have our coordinator of social services, Ms. Omari Jemerson, who is here with us and is going to talk to us about some really exciting work that we're engaged in to support our expectant and parenting teens. Ms. Jemerson.
Thank you, Madam Board President and other board members, Deputy Shannon and other TPS staff for allowing me the chance to come and talk about Strong Tomorrows. Very close to my heart. So, of course, in approaching this issue, we wanted to approach it with an all-in perspective, not just with our Strong Tomorrows case managers, but also creating a team within the site, so our principals, our staff members, and of course the students that we are serving. So why do we need a program like Strong Tomorrows? So we know that nationally the #1 reason why teen moms drop out is because of the unplanned pregnancy. In Oklahoma, we have the second highest teen pregnancy rate in the nation. In 2015, we found that there were 4,400 live teen births in the state of Oklahoma, and that's between the ages of 15 to 19, and of that, about 56% of those teen births are here in Tulsa County. Now, that doesn't mean that all of those are within TPS. We're working on ways to identify those students within our district, but you can imagine what that rolls out to look like for us. So a little bit of the history on how we have previously supported these students. Because of the environment that we are in, we have done things historically like long-term partnerships with Margaret Hudson. And what we started to see over the years is that students started to choose to stay within their home schools instead of opting out to programs like Margaret Hudson. So the district began to take a step back and kind of look at ways that they could better support those students that were opting to stay within their home schools. And about 3 years ago, a partnership was formed with communities and schools, and that's when the Strong Tomorrows model was developed. After assessing this past summer the history and the way the model looked with communities and schools, the district opted to go ahead and take the model and embed it within itself to be able to serve more. And this partnership, or this expansion, was made possible to us by a partnership with George Kaiser Foundation and the Tulsa Area United Way. So what does the program actually look like? So there are 4 key areas that we focus on in the program. Teen-parent engagement is a big one, and we do that a lot through parent workshops. High-quality childcare is also another high-focus area. We have partnerships with Educare. Our students get priority slots into Educare, and with CAP, our students receive priority points by participating in the program to be able to enroll into CAP. Healthcare is another focus, and in healthcare we do things like work with them to educate them on prevention of subsequent pregnancies while they're in school or until they achieve the goals that they have set for themselves. Also working with them to make sure that they have a medical home, not just for themselves but for the baby, so we follow up on well child visits and things like that. And then of course our ultimate goal is to get them across the stage and graduated. So we do a lot of planning and working with counselors to help them understand what their requirements are to get them to graduation, and then we have partners that we work with for post-graduation planning, whether it be going on to college or preparing for some type of career. Right now, the program operates in Held Junior High and high school, and that's where it has operated for the last, this is our 4th year there, so it initially started the pilot year there. East Central Junior High, this is the 2nd year there. It was added the 3rd year of the pilot. McLean Junior High and Central Junior High and high school were both added in the expansion this year. And 2 other pieces of the program that I failed to mention are our Baby Bonus Bucks program. So it's an incentive program that the students get to participate in. They get points for coming to school, their grades, and then any other goals that they've set for attending parent engagement, things that are out in the community. And then they can take those Baby Bonus Bucks and buy things. They can pay for credit recovery or buy things for their child. What we find is a lot of them, especially those that are pregnant, will save up for those big ticket items that they didn't get during their baby shower. And then we also try to offer healthy snacks and have those available. Here are a few of our partners that we work with that push in and help us with our workshops. Just to name a few, I talked about Educare and CAP, and then the health department has some curriculum circle of security that they come in and offer as well. So what does a case manager look like? So our case managers are dedicated young professionals that have been trained to work with young people. They are housed at each of those 4 high schools that I just mentioned, and then they provide ongoing crisis management because as you can assume or imagine, like pregnancy is just one issue that these students come to us with, and so they need a lot of those wraparound supports. And then recently we were also able to add to our staff a fatherhood coordinator, and so I have him here with us to talk a little bit about what he does. Mario Jones came to us from DHS, and he has more than 20 years of case management experience.
All right. Well, thank you for allowing me to talk today. Just going to hit some brief things that we're doing. Right now, like you said, we're in the 4 high schools, and we're working on trying to explore some different ways to reach out to the other schools that we may not be in. And that may just be collaborating with the social worker or existing agencies that are already there to support the teen fathers at those schools as well. Right now, it's only been 3 months, so we're really focusing on building those relationships and building trust with those guys because it's real difficult to try to just open up to someone that you don't really know. So just building that trust and meeting the immediate need and whatever that may be. And also showing them just what a father looks like. And many, I don't try to judge them, a non-judgmental approach and just meeting them where they're at and being relatable. And just establishing that academic support, emotional support, and just being there. And so establishing a relationship not only with the young men, but the faculty and the staff, and just letting them know that I'm there to support them. And in the long run, hey, if they become better men, better students, and also just be more equipped to be fathers. So,
thank you, Mario. And in order for our case managers to remain full-time, they are required to have at least 12 students on caseload. Which we haven't saw this at this point, but if it becomes lower than that, then we will tend to split them across schools as the plan. And then the most that they will have is about 35 when we'll reassess on how many more we need to add. So, okay, how does this actually work? So our students are referred into us a number of different ways once the word is out about the program. We try to connect with the nurses, the counselors, and the other staff in the school to introduce what the program is, and then they'll start sending names of kids. And sometimes, we get a name of a kid and we follow up and they may not actually be pregnant. We've had some students who have been dealing with other medical issues once we found, got to the nitty-gritty of what was going on, but the fact that people are paying attention to the students speaks volumes. So once the referral comes in, then the case manager follows up with them, and then they do an assessment with the student. Once they explain it to them, if the student chooses that they want to learn more about it, they sit down, they do an assessment. During that assessment, they'll try to identify different needs that the student may have, immediate needs that need to be addressed, and also issues or areas where they may be able to identify goals that the student can work on. And then resources in step 3. Of course, any of those immediate needs that have been identified, we try to immediately link them up on different ways that they can have those addressed. And then comes the goal setting. So of course there'll be goal setting around graduation, but there may be other things. There may be, if they're pregnant, we may need to set goals around prenatal care and what that means, because a lot of times when our students present to us, especially those very early on in their pregnancy, they haven't sought out that prenatal care, and so educating them on the importance of that. And then the ongoing support, depending on what their needs are, continues on it with the case manager. So some of the benefits, and I will say that not everybody who we identify chooses to opt into the program, but we still try to keep in touch with them, checking in with them probably at least once a month, just just to check and see how they're doing. We've had some students from that one-on-one contact eventually opt in to be a part of the program. So just letting them know that someone is there and still cares about how they're doing, and they try to check their grades and see if there's something that they need to follow up on some help. But just some benefits for participating. Of course, they get the academic support for needs for their child, the parenting workshops, which continues to educate them as a parent, staying on track for graduation, offering of wraparound services, and then any post-secondary planning that they would like to embark on. So here are just a few data points that we pulled out from the pilot years. So over here you'll see these are all from Hale. Now, one thing I want to call to your attention, the numbers that are enrolled, that's actually total enrolled that participated in the program, and then the percentages are of that number, how many seniors actually graduated that year. So one thing I want to call out with the Hale data here is 100% of the sophomores who started with us when we started this program graduated last year. And so that was a huge win for us. And then last year we started in East Central High School, so 86, she had one student that didn't graduate last year. And so with our smaller numbers, those percentages tend to be a little off balance a little bit. But that was a huge win, and we like to brag about that. So what's next for Strong Tomorrows? We're working very closely with our data and analytics team on how to best look at the data and determine what it is that we need to do to fill the gaps for these students. Continuous professional learning. So these students are also protected by Title IX because they are pregnant, and so there's been a lot of education going on throughout the district, especially in the schools where we have Strong Tomorrows program, on the rights that our students have as pregnant and parenting teens. And so continuing to do that, we've held trainings with our nurses, our counselors, and then we try to go push in at least once a year into the schools that have Strong Tomorrows as well. And then, of course, continuing to seek out additional partnerships to help support the program. So another little treat that I have for you tonight is we have two of our alumni students here that are going to share a little bit about their experience. Oh, Jonathan, you can come and just stand. Okay, so she'll represent the family, but this is Maria Lyra.
Okay, my name is Maria, and I graduated from Nathan Hale High School last year with my husband. And I'm sorry, I'm kind of nervous to be up here. I graduated, I'm sorry. I was pregnant. I got pregnant in 2015. That's when Strong Tomorrows started. Miss Casey, I'm sorry. It's okay. I was 15 when I got pregnant. Miss Casey was such a good help for me to keep my baby, and Strong Tomorrows has helped me to graduate from high school and to be such a good mom. Well, I think. as my husband. Can you
talk a little bit how he turned around a little bit?
Oh, yes. Jonathan used to skip school when we were in 9th grade. Not just him, both of us. Being in Strong Tomorrows changed our lives completely. From skipping school, our absences never being in school, to being on top of our grades, on top of our attendance. From that, when we would have appointments with our son, we were in the hospital for a really long time. We would always make sure we would have our homework done, everything. We went from F's to straight A's. And Strong Tomorrows has helped us a lot. I really appreciate the help that I have received from Strong Tomorrows. And yeah,
that's good. Thank you.
Thank you.
And Miss Casey is the case manager at Hale High School. Did you get that? Any questions?
Ms. Shelton, do you have a question?
Thank you, Maria and Maria for sharing as well. How many students are we serving currently, and what opportunities do students have if they're pregnant or parenting at one of the high schools that we're not currently in?
So right now, we're serving right under 50 students total across the 4. It takes a little while to build up caseload within our new sites, although it is gaining momentum. So the plan for across the other sites that have a social worker within them, we have, or I have talked to them about offering support groups. And then Mario has reached out to a couple of the other schools that dads have been identified. So at the beginning of the school year, I met with all the social workers and counselors and asked them if students were identified to let me know, and then we could plan on how to do those once a week support groups for those students. And it also lets us plan for where, when funding becomes available, we can push in and offer another case manager.
Thank you so much, and thank you, Maria, as well, for coming and sharing your story. It's a great success story, and you should be so proud of yourself and your family.